Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com. He sorts the Sunday pile. I don't think there was much to sort. Did you write a big thing about the Pro Bowl games? Did you write anything about that?
No, I was watching the farmer or the was it the farmer?
Pebble Beach.
Pebble. Excuse me. Yeah, Pebble. I mean, like, look, the Pro Bowl is and has been. I mean, Drake May and Russell Wilson were out there.
Oh, wow. Russell Wilson was a Pro Bowler?
Well, it's just, the way that the Pro Bowl sort of unfolded at this point is that, you don't get that vacation to Hawaii.
Right.
So these guys who are like veterans who go to, because, what happens is most of the guys who are on the, to make the Pro Bowl, you have a good season, you're on a good team, you go to the playoffs, you play a couple extra games, you're exhausted, you're hurt,
right.
You want to go see your family. It's been a longer season than the teams that have bad years because they play less games. And so in general, it's like the opt-outs at this point are just ridiculous. I mean, Tyler Huntley went to a Pro Bowl at one point. So no, I don't care about the Pro Bowl. It's still those numbers because there's nothing else on. It's professional football. But
right.
I mean, it's not, it's nice not to have to care about it.
Oh, I didn't care about it when they actually played a game. I care less about it now, but that's fine. So let me just dig in real quick to the game because this will be the last time we'll speak before Super Bowl LIX. I've kind of played around with my scenario for Philadelphia winning. Is it fair that the Eagles will likely have to throw the ball? Because if you're Steve Spagnuolo, you're not letting Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts beat you on the ground, right?
I mean, you don't want to. I think that the Rams probably thought the same thing, and the Commanders probably thought the same thing, and every team that's played Saquon Barkley this year has thought the same thing. But that offensive line is so good; they're creative in how they run. I think there's an interesting prop out there. It's like Jalen Hurts first to 10 rushing yards is like 7-1 or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Eagles came out and tried to be a little creative with the way that they attack
read
the
option.
City, read option, or come out and throw early and just sort of get that defense on its heels a little bit. At the same time, I mean, he came out against the Commanders, first play from scrimmage, 80 yards, Saquon to the house. He's playing just incredible football at the running back position. Right. And I do think I hate to do the correlated, 100 yards, and because it's obviously if you're winning, you're rushing more,
right?
If you have a lead, but I do think if Saquon is held under 100 rushing yards, which would be pretty shocking, he's minus 180 to score a touchdown on FanDuel. I mean, right. I think if he doesn't score and he's held under 100 rushing yards, you feel pretty good about the Chiefs winning. So,
right.
Even though, I get what you're saying about the Eagles needing to pass because that's what the Chiefs will do. I think if the Eagles are winning, it means Saquon's having a monster game.
Right, but my point isn't that the Eagles will need to pass. My point is really that if you're the Chiefs, you want to make them pass. So that's what I think will be their mission. And with respect to Washington, their defense was, vulnerable on the ground really all year long. Yeah. I wasn't surprised that, especially first play of the game, the fact he scored a touchdown was kind of comical, but not surprised that he went for a big number there. I'm trying to, you try to figure out how one team is going to play it. Steve Logan used to say, I want to make them beat me left-handed. And if Spagnuolo does that, then he's going to make Philadelphia throw the ball.
Yeah, no. I guess I thought you were saying the pathway to the Eagles winning, the pathway to the Chiefs winning is Jalen Hurts dropping back a bunch and throwing the football and being forced to do it. Yeah, that's the case. That's been the case before all these games, right? Where if you can stop Saquon in that rushing attack and you can force them to be one-dimensional and make Jalen Hurts, to Logan's point, that is beating you left-handed. Like, forcing Jalen Hurts to throw the ball a ton. And they've got weapons. Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, they can throw the ball. But if he has to drop back more than Saquon attempts rushes, then I think that is a dream scenario for the Kansas City Chiefs and their defense.
All right, let me ask you real quick about health for the two teams. As far as we know, are there any major absences?
I don't think so.
Lane Johnson was kind of banged up, right?
That would be a big one. Lane Johnson, their offense has, over the past, even dating back to 2017, when they had Carson Wentz at quarterback and Nick Foles, that offense falls off a cliff and Lane Johnson is hurt. I would be floored. I mean, Lane Johnson's a warrior, man.
Yeah.
He's as tough
Oh,
as
he's going to play.
I would be floored. Yeah, exactly. So, maybe you worry a little bit about the health, but, that offensive line is so good. I think they'll probably be fine. Yeah. And by the way, fun fact for you. That I threw out to ATW earlier today. If the Chiefs win, Joe Tooney, NC State's own Joe Tooney, will join Tom Brady and Charles Haley as the only players in NFL history with 5 Super Bowl rings.
Are you serious? Well, doesn't DeMarcus Ware have 5? Was it DeMarcus Ware? No.
No, Charles Haley.
No, Dean. Charles Haley. Right.
Yeah, Charles Haley's got 5. Brady has 5. Obviously, Mahomes is, on his way to getting there. But because of Tooney's time with New England and then with Kansas City, he just landed perfectly where 5 Super Bowl rings. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's and he's playing left tackle now, right? Yep. For the Chiefs, he's basically a guard.
Moved outside and is playing left tackle and playing at a Pro Bowl, All Pro level. We did CBS Sports.com's 8 finalists for Offensive Lineman of the Year. Tooney made the list.
Oh, he's a dynamite. We knew he was going to be a dynamite player going in.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk real quick about coaching. Chip Kelly, really? $6 million a year?
Whew, highest paid. Dude, look, he played it perfect. Got a ring in Ohio State. Now is the highest paid offensive coordinator, highest paid coordinator in the NFL. That is a ton of money. I do like the idea of Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly is something else. But I do like the idea of, you get a guy like Pete Carroll who is, compete, very enthusiastic.
Right.
I said repeatedly, I think he's a great fit for the Raiders and trying to turn them into a serious football team, something they haven't been in 20 plus years. And then you bring in Chip Kelly who, people ripped him when he was in Philly, but the dude went to the playoffs the first 2 years he was there, and didn't revolutionize NFL offenses, but he had pretty good offenses. And you would think that he can, given what he did with Ohio State, they were fantastic this year. I think he can fashion something pretty good. They obviously still just have to figure out the quarterback position.
Yeah,
and there's been lots of rumors about Russell Wilson in Las Vegas, a reunion with Pete Carroll. They've kind of made up. It might make sense as a cheap bridge, even though he didn't play extremely well. They're going to want to run the football a ton, of course.
Go get Sam Darnold.
Go get Sam Darnold.
I don't think Darnold's awesome, but he's better than Wilson at this point.
Yeah, I think if it's me, I think you're drafting a quarterback at some point in the next 2 years anyway, regardless. The issue with Darnold is you've got to kind of give him a longer deal and pay him a lot of money because of how well he played, whereas Russ is a 1-year flyer as he's still cashing checks from Denver.
Well, and the truth is also Chip Kelly, his offenses have leaned towards running anyway, his best offenses. So, and that feeds right into what Pete Carroll wants to do, is run the ball, but at the same time be creative, which is kind of what they were in Seattle. All right, so
it's a nice little match, I think.
No, I'm not against it. I was just blown away by the total number for Chip Kelly to become a coordinator in the NFL. But there's no salary cap for coaches, which is why I've always wondered why the Dallas Cowboys don't have an all-star coaching staff. And they do. It's just a minor league all-star coaching staff. Brian Schottenheimer. Look, I think Schottenheimer's been an offensive coordinator for a long time in the NFL, and he's been okay. I think he probably gets a bad rap. But I also don't think he's been unbelievable at it. He's kind of been okay. And this is Dallas staying on brand for Jerry Jones because they refuse to look forward.
It's crazy, man. I like Brian Schottenheimer, good dude. I think you're right, probably a little underrated, but his offenses have never been top of the league.
Right.
Obviously people are going to make the nepotism claim or whatever because it's his dad, but he's made his own way in the NFL. I just don't understand the entirety of the process. So like, you can go back as far as Dak Prescott and how twice, really, the Cowboys hamstrung themselves at the quarterback position by waiting to pay Dak. Then they did the same thing with CD Lamb. Now they're doing the same thing with Micah Parsons. And they did the same thing with Mike McCarthy, quite frankly, where, if you figured out a solution, either before the season so he's not in a lame duck year, or, during the season or right afterward, like just by waiting so long, you end up in a position where, the top candidates are gone and, you're either trying to flirt with Bill Belichick, who obviously signed his deal, and this is going to be at Carolina, go get Deion Sanders, which was just like a crazy idea, or promote your own offensive coordinator from within, even though he has no head coaching experience. It feels like, Jerry Jones would, it's like he would rather, he's like somebody who wants to like fix his own car, even though the car doesn't run, rather than like taking it to a mechanic and having him, make the car work. It's so bizarre how they're operating, and he preaches how he just desperately wants to win. Like, does he?
Yeah.
Fortunately for Jerry, this dude with the Mavs is taking all the attention in Dallas.
I don't know. It's temporary.
By trading Luka.
That's temporary. Final thing. When Aaron Glenn, who is now the coach of the Jets, at his press conference got all emotional and said, "We're the bleeping New York Jets," did he realize how right he was in a bad way?
Yeah. It's true. I think it's great.
I do too.
I think it's great that he cares about the franchise.
Uh-huh.
I always think
Yes.
that's awesome. When a coach goes back and is like that passionate about the franchise, that's fantastic. But dude, like the Jets haven't. I think he'd be a good head coach. I just don't trust that ownership to stay out of the way at all. And there's no reason to suggest anything to the contrary, given what Woody Johnson's done over the last 20 years. So best of luck to Aaron Glenn. I hope that he succeeds with the Jets.
Yeah.
But
he won't.
It's an uphill battle of the most gigantic proportions.
As I said the day he was announced, he is going to be a great head coach in his second spot. Not this one.
Exactly.
In his second try as a head coach, I think he is going to be dynamite. I loved Aaron Glenn as a player. He is going to be a very good coach. Nobody will be a good coach of the Jets. Although Woody Johnson did say, "I have to be a better owner." Who knows? David Tepper looks like he's becoming a better owner for the Panthers by staying away.
Yeah.
So
exactly. But but the difference between David Tepper and Woody is that we have this multiple decade history of Woody being involved. David Tepper came in and basically followed the Jimmy Haslam blueprint, where he's like, "I've got to have my hands all over it," and then realized, okay, this is just a disaster, and I'm making an ass of myself.
Right.
And now it's backed away. The Panthers look partially competent.
I do think that Tepper stopped short of talking to people who live on the street, which is good. Which is very good. Will Brinson, enjoy New Orleans. Come back in one piece, and we will talk to you the day after Super Bowl LIX.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon, man.
Thanks, man.